Shifting from a budget phone to a high-end mid-range phone, an entry-level flagship, you start to change your perception of what a good phone is. The things you thought to be good now seem to be bad, and now the standard of a new phone for you has been raised. What's up, everyone? Kahiso Kaledi here, and I just wanted to share my experience of the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE phone that I have in my hands right now. It's in a case. I don't play that game. And yes, let's get into it. Now, I'm gonna start with the look and feel of this phone. This is a really nice looking phone, okay? I got the black version, jet black, according to Samsung, and it is really nice to look at. I mean, there are just moments where I just remove the case and I just want to hold it and just, admire how good it looks. Now, Samsung makes a variety of phones, and this phone, the only kind of maybe nitpick is that it may appear less premium than it actually is, simply because Samsung has a similar design language with some of their phones, and maybe some of the A series would look like some of the S series phones. So in this case, the A16 phone, it has a similar 3-camera setup, and it kind of looks like this phone from afar, right? So that is kind of one thing that will kind of make it appear less premium than it actually is. It is a premium build, I'll tell you that. But if somebody was looking from far, they might mistake your phone for like maybe a A16. It's not a big deal, but it's something to think about if you care about that kind of thing. Another thing that I want to point out is that this phone without a case, it gives me anxiety. Okay, I mean, like, it is very slippery. Like to be able to be comfortable holding it without a case, you have to have a firm grip on it, and like just holding it like this, it would slip from my hand, and I am not comfortable with that. Literally, the next day when I got this phone, I went and bought a screen protector and a case immediately, which is why I do not play that game. I put cases on my phone. I'm not a no case person, and if you're a no case person, fine, but I'm not gonna recommend. I'm not gonna recommend that you do not buy a case with this phone. I will highly recommend it. This phone has an aluminum frame, meaning that it kind of has a bit of a premium build to it. And for me, personally, this is what kind of makes it feel so premium, because I had a phone with the plastic, well, like the phone that I'm recording on right now, I keep forgetting. Like the phone that I'm recording from right now, it has a plastic frame and a plastic back. So it doesn't necessarily feel very premium. It is a good build, like it's pretty solid. But this right here, like when you hold it, it feels much more, it feels like you're holding something that, I don't know, that is much more expensive. Let me put it that way, because it has a premium build, and the materials that are used to make this actually say, hey, treat me with respect. That's what it says. Now, aluminium is able to withstand more than plastic, so it is a durable material, but I do not necessarily want to test that theory because, as I mentioned, I do not play that game. Now, one of the things that I was really excited about when I got this phone was the software and the performance. If you've watched my previous video, I mentioned the word tolerance when it comes to the A32. And that is true. Like, you have to tolerate a whole lot, because the performance of this phone will annoy you. So the performance of the A32, it's kind of decent for the first few months, because I did get it like 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, 2022. And after a few months, you start to notice things like the apps becoming much slower to open. It's almost as if the phone has to think about opening the apps, which is really annoying. The camera shutter button is kind of slow, especially if you switch over to the 64 megapixel mode. Minimizing apps is also a bit of a pain because it gets a little jittery, and various instances of lag would occur, which is, again, annoying. So you have to tolerate a whole lot of these performance issues, because it's not a beefy phone. 4 GB of RAM, and I think a MediaTek low range chip that functions in the A32s. With the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE, none of this happens. No lag. Everything runs so smoothly. I don't know. It's revolutionary to me because literally I come from a budget phone and I'm using this phone. Everything runs so smooth, and I understand that this is a new phone. I'll give you that. I understand that I'm still within the first month of using it, so there's no time to be able to determine, oh, how does it feel like 5 months down the line. If I notice any issues, I may feel inclined to actually make a video of the software performance down the line. However, for now, it is really smooth. 120 hertz refresh rate makes scrolling on the internet, just generally through my phone, it feels so buttery smooth. I cannot explain it because the 832 is a 90, well, it has a 90 hertz refresh rate. I never use 90 hertz simply because it's a jittery phone. It would like be laggy and whatnot. So I don't want to necessarily push it to a point where it becomes even more laggy. Would have been a problem. So I kept it at 60 hertz and it was fine. Now 120 hertz. Hey, so all in all, this phone runs really smooth. It has Android 16, One UI 8, the Android skin from Samsung, and these run really smoothly. I cannot complain about the software. I like the features, especially the AI features. I don't use all of the AI features. I use some of them. One AI feature that I actually used was AI Select. And I actually used it to create a GIF, which is actually pretty nice. I like that. And it has a few other AI features. I haven't really used them because I haven't found a need to use them yet. However, Gemini comes in clutch when you just long press the power button and you just want to you just ask a quick question. I think it is really useful to have that feature on this phone. Generally, what I would used to do on the 832 is that I would go onto ChatGPT, ask my question, and come back. Don't have to do that. Just hold the power button and I'm set. I can quickly ask whatever it is that I want to ask, and boom, I have my answer. Initially, I didn't understand why the FE phones existed in the S lineup because they already like had the S25, the S25 Plus, and then the S25 Ultra. So I assumed that was a complete lineup. However, I do understand now, after using this phone, why this phone kind of exists, because the A series are the budget-friendly phones, and the S series are the more pricier segment of phones. Now, this phone kind of comes in between that. Like, it gives you the flagship experience at a lower price. It creates a bridge from the budget to the flagship phones. So from now on, I don't think I would want to buy a phone that is a lesser experience than this, simply because I have a taste of the flagship experience and I don't want anything else anymore. Like, I just want flagship phones. The experience between these two phone series is very different because I mean look at this. I'm gonna put it right here. The Samsung Galaxy A32, I had to put this on my home screen, like this little thing that really annoyed me, the device care optimization thing. And I used to use that simply um to make the phone feel a bit faster than what it actually is. As I mentioned, like, it's very jittery. So device care, that little optimization widget over there, would actually help me it will make the phone run slightly smoother. It would be less of a problem. So that's why I have that widget there. On my home screen here, I don't have that. I don't have that because I don't need it. I really, really don't need it because this phone performs above standard for me. Because simply as a person coming from an A32, I need to say this though as a stipulation. I know objectively there are better phones out there. However, for me, this is the best phone that I've ever used ever. A feature that you notice is a huge, huge jump is the cameras. Like, the cameras on this phone are really, really good. It has a 50 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and an 8 megapixel telephoto. Now, have I played around with all of the camera features? No. However, I have taken a few pictures and I'll put them up on the screen just so you can see the camera comparison from the A32 to the S25 FE. The difference is night and day. Like, yes, the A32 takes some decent pictures. It takes presentable pictures. Let me put it that way. Budget phones take presentable pictures. This takes great pictures, in my opinion, because I'm, as I said, this phone is the bridge between flagship and budget. The picture quality on this phone is great. The colors really represent real life, and the detail is sharp. The video quality is great too. Now, the 832, it has less stabilization compared to the S25 FE. Like, you actually notice way better stabilization on this phone than you do on the 832. And it makes for such a better video viewing experience and just a better video in general, because as you're walking and the camera's just shaking, it's really annoying to watch that kind of thing. Now with this phone, it's none of that. Like, it's okay, you do notice slight, very slight compared to this phone, very slight. Now the new features on this phone give me way more than I actually wanted, because all I wanted was improved performance in a phone. Now, generally, how I actually buy a new phone or upgrade my phone is that I look at a problem that I face with the current phone that I need to improve on. So with the J5, I actually had a Samsung J5 before the A32. J5 only had 8 gigabytes of internal storage, and I wanted a phone with bigger storage. So the A32 comes in with 128 gigabytes of storage, and that was great. Now, this phone has better performance, which is what I wanted. The A32 doesn't necessarily have great performance, it just works, and you have to tolerate a whole lot. But this right here is a huge performance upgrade. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.